Welcome to the channel, guys. We're back again, and today we're talking about my top 7 niche fragrances for the summer. Before we get into the list, how about you hit that like and subscribe button. So first on my list is Xerjoff Renaissance 1861. One of the things I like about this fragrance the most is that it does have a fairly prominent tangerine. And I think this makes it a little bit more unique because it doesn't just have bergamot and lime or grapefruit or whatever. The tangerine note is actually quite prominent to my nose, and I do really get a big dose of that throughout the life of this fragrance. And that gives it a certain amount of uniqueness because it just sets itself apart. This does have some light florals, although it's enough for me to manage as I'm not really someone who likes florals. And I will say that this is an extremely classy fragrance. So I think the really big thing about this one, and one of the main reasons it's lower on this list, is I don't find it to be as versatile. It's great for the warm weather, it's great for the heat, but since I find it so classy, that I would think that it's best suited for formal events. So I would find this hard to wear with a t-shirt when I'm just chilling. This is probably best served in a more formal event, wearing a suit and that kind of thing. But anyways, that's my number 7, Xerjoff Renaissance 1861. My number 6 fragrance was actually just released this year, and it is Tom Ford Costa Azzurra Aqua. This one I also like quite a bit. Now, it's something that is really versatile. I think you can wear this in most situations, which does make it really nice. And it has this very light, airy quality. So this is something that isn't really going to, punch people in the face and announce that you're here. It's more of something that people are going to smell and pick up on, and it has a very classy, nice vibe to it. I really like the cypress and the pine. It creates a really nice kind of woody, piney accord that's very enjoyable. And overall, it has a kind of unique aquatic nature. Now, of course, I feel like it's not sort of the really typical aquatic. This is something that really reminds me of a nice ocean breeze, but not in the same way that maybe Aqua de Joe does or whatever. This is very light. It has a light citrus as well. It does have some fruits in there too, and I think it all comes together quite nicely to make a very easy to wear, very light fragrance. That's also very versatile, and this is one that is sure to please a lot of people. So that is Tom Ford Costa Azzurra Aqua. My number 5 position goes to none other than Moonlight in Heaven by Kilian, and this is really great coconut fragrance. Now, it does have a very prominent mango note as well, which adds a nice fruity sweetness, but I think one of the things I like about this the most is that it has a very unique coconut. It's much drier, and I think this has something to do maybe with the rice note as well. And it comes across very much like a bit of a gourmand, actually. I kind of feel like this is a coconut cake or like a coconut dry sort of brownie type thing. And I can see it right there, like in front of my face, and it's very nice because this is a different coconut than the sort of creamy coconut you might expect from a lot of other fragrances, and it also doesn't come across at all like sunscreen. So I do really like that. The rice note is also very enjoyable. It reminds me of very refreshing rice drinks that I've had at, Korean restaurants or that I had when I was spending time in Japan. So it is something that I've enjoyed a lot in my past, and I think that it really gives me that fresh, nice image as well. And this is all tied together with a very nice fruity mango note, which again is a little bit more unique than your common citrus notes, and I do enjoy that about this fragrance as well. So if you haven't checked out this one, it is certainly a very nice, very original fragrance from Kilian, and that is Moonlight in Heaven. My number 4 fragrance is Creed Olfa, and I think this is probably my favorite from the house. It has a really beautiful, punchy mint vibe that is really, really great. It's very invigorating and very fresh, and it has this really sort of not quite airy, but very, very fresh vibe going with it as well. And later on, when the ambergris kind of joins in there and starts adding a nice sweetness to the punchy mint, as that kind of tones down a little bit, it's really, really enjoyable, very refreshing. This reminds me of being on the ocean, and that certainly was the goal of this fragrance, and I think it's done very well. So I do like this one a lot. I think this is a great wear for the summer. I mean, honestly, Creed does freshies very, very well. But I think this one certainly stands out despite being an older fragrance. Very invigorating, very refreshing, very much a nice, lively memory of the ocean, and that is Creed or Olfa. Number 3 should come as no surprise to anyone, and that is Bergamot 22 by Labo. This is really bergamot done really, really well. And I mean, this is one that has definitely grown on me. I certainly enjoyed it when I first smelled it. So it has a very nice, prominent bergamot in the opening that to me comes across as very unripe. So it's still sitting there on the tree, and that vetiver note is also really strong. And it's not a very fresh vetiver, it's more of a dry vetiver. So you get this very woody, dry, unripe bergamot kind of a feeling with this fragrance. And it comes across as a bergamot sitting right on the tree, right in front of you. And it's just extremely well done. It's very well done, and if you like bergamot, this is one you should definitely check out. It's made for the lighter weathers, it's made for the warmer weathers, and it just works really, really well. It also has decent performance. The bergamot lasts quite a while in this fragrance, and I enjoy wearing this one a lot. The only real complaint is this one is pretty pricey, but if you can get this one on a discount, I think it's definitely worth checking out. So my number 2 spot goes to Colonia Essenza by Aqua de Parma, and this is one of my favorite soapy fragrances. So this opens with a really nice, bright, fresh bergamot and dries down into a nice soapy fragrance with a citrusy twist on it. And it just does this combination so well and so effectively. And I think it's really great in the summer because it has this really fresh, nice bergamot in the opening, and as it dries down and as the day wears on, it comes across as this very beautiful, citrusy, soapy fragrance, which is really something that you want when you're out in the heat. It keeps you smelling, fresh and clean and soapy all through the day, and it does it really, really well. So I enjoy this one a lot. This is Colonia Essenza by Aqua de Parma. So my number 1 spot, I actually reviewed this one quite a while. I do enjoy it quite a bit, and so far it is actually my favorite from the house of Amouage, and that is Beach Hut Man. This one has such a sharp mint that it is very powerful. It's quite a bit different than a lot of summer fragrances. It doesn't really have this sort of citrusy vibe at all. This is a really, really punchy, powerful, sharp mint that is combined with green aspects to give you a sort of woody, minty fragrance. This is also a great fragrance for when you want to wear outside because it is a beast mode when you first spray it on. And so it obviously warrants some caution in that regard because this is one that is extremely, extremely sharp and piercing in the opening. That mint note is extremely strong and it's very green and woody, and it's very enjoyable. I like it a lot. But it is something that you probably wouldn't want to wear in like an office space because it's just too loud. Now it is a little bit one-dimensional. Really, the mint kind of tones down a bit and it retains this sort of green, woody, minty vibe throughout the life. So I find this to be somewhat linear, but if it is a fragrance that you enjoy, which I enjoy, that's not a bad thing. So although it doesn't develop into anything else, it maintains a very nice, sharp, minty, woody, green accord that's very enjoyable and quite unique for a summer fragrance. So anyways, guys, that is my niche list for summer 2019. What fragrances are you guys looking forward to wearing? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.